Hey everybody, it's Chuck Green with Avante Audio. Thanks for checking us out today. We are going to go over the Imperio line array system and maybe a couple applications that you would use it in. So first of all, for those of you that aren't familiar with Avante, Avante is a brand that we started about 3 or 4 years ago, actually, and myself and Mr. JC Faxis, we introduced Avante at Infocom in Orlando, Florida, to a very strong response, and then it was just our point source box, the Achromic series, and it's grown into a couple of other products, but by far the craziest response we've ever gotten is to our Imperio system. And really, what is the Imperio? It is a modular loudspeaker system that you really can fit into a ton of different applications, anything from obviously live events to houses of worship to theater, just small corporate events. You can make the Imperio as small as you want or as big as you want. We basically always say you can do a gig for 100 people to 1,000 people, depending on how many of your Imperio boxes you want to take out. So one of the things that makes the Imperio really unique, besides its extremely compact size, is the accessories that go along with the Imperio. So we have several different rigging accessories, wall mounts, pole mounts, and we'll kind of take a closer look at that in a minute. But first, I just want to do a quick overview of the Imperio module itself. So I have them both right here. It's the same unit, it's just this one doesn't have the grill on. And actually, Candace, if you could pop my computer screen up there, we'll just kind of get a closer look. So this is the Imperio module, and it has two 4.75-inch neodymium woofers. It has 6 1.75-inch inverted domes, which we call the IDVAT, inverted dome, Inverted dome, vertical array technology. Sorry, JC came up with it. It's pretty cool. But anyway, that's the tweeter cluster you see on the front. It has a 240 watt RMS Class D amplifier, and it has an onboard DSP. These things couldn't go together any easier. And let me see if I have a photo of the back. Oops, that's the Imperio system. So anyhow, the Imperio module only weighs 14 pounds. So you're not going to break your back moving this around like a traditional line array. Yeah, you can cut back to me, thanks. There you go. So anyhow, each one of these guys is about a foot tall. So it's pretty easy to spec out. If you have a 20-foot ceiling, you can hang basically as many as you like. But if you have a 10-foot ceiling, you obviously don't want to hang 8 Imperios and have them hanging 2 feet off the floor. But sorry, we're just ironing out some technical details in the back. Anyway, they do have integrated fly hardware, and you can't really see here, but right here from the top, it's steel all the way through. So as I always say, oh, there we go. Yeah, you have steel going from top to the bottom. So yeah, there is no load-bearing ABS plastic on these guys. On the inverted domes, you can see here we have a little phase plug for a slight correction at 6K. So anyhow, since I got you over here are the pins, the link pins that come with the Imperio, and they just pop in and out of there. And then, as you'll see in a video shortly where we put one together, here's the fly hardware on the back. You have 4 different splay positions. You have the DSP settings. You have the input sensitivity. And then we have some suggested configuration settings on the back. And of course, you can see we have locking power in and out, audio in and out. And again, these things are robust. They're little bricks of audio power. But again, they're only 14 pounds. So moving them in and out. And if you're an event company that has to worry about drayage, like for trade shows, you're not going to get the coverage for the weight, with anything else but the Imperio. So The Imperio also has a subwoofer complement, which is the Imperio 210 sub. The 210 sub, obviously, well, it features 210s. Each one has 2.5-inch voice coils, and they're driven by a 700-watt RMS Class D amplifier. The sub, it is worth mentioning, it also has a built-in crossover. So if you're doing a simple gig, there's no reason to bring any racks with you. You can adjust it between 90 and 120 hertz. And then it also has phase reversal, and it also has power in and out. So you can actually run a very decent sized Imperio system off of a 20 amp circuit, just daisy chaining the power together. So anyhow, I just kind of wanted to talk again, like I said, about some of the rigging accessories. So the first one I want to show here, and I have it in white, and also the Imperio products are available in white, which is, for your architectural or your house of worship, or a lot of like the Miami party scene, they want speakers in white. Go figure. So this is the small rigging bar, and I don't know if we can get Candace to pan up to this line array here. Now these ones are in black, so you're gonna have a harder time seeing the rigging bar, but you can see from the front, it's very low profile. It's not a big, bulky fly bar. So, in most situations where you want the speakers to disappear, which the Imperios are really, really good at, a rigging bar like this is fine. And you can hang up to 8 Imperio modules off this guy. Now, if you want, we do have the Imperio rigging bar LG, which is obviously a much larger one. This frame fits on both the top and bottom of the 210 sub. You can also, as you'll see in the video, you can flip this guy over and use it for a ground stack, or as we call it, a bleacher system. So we have some customers that just fly the subwoofers independently. They'll do like a backfire situation where they delay the fronts, and if you just want to fly the subs, you can do that. But there's also several configurations where you can use one of these rigging bars on top of the sub, one underneath the sub, with the Imperios flying underneath as well. And I should mention that the maximum hang you can do with the LG Imperio bar is 2 of the 210 subs and 8 Imperio modules. And I'll show you in a minute, we call that the Imperio Max system, and it's pretty awesome. So, moving on, here I'm gonna show you guys something new. It's not quite out yet, but in the video I do use this. This is called the Imperio Rigging Bar DLX. Now, the cool thing about this is if you're using chain motors, or if you have a single pick point, this is the rigging bar you want to use. You just attach the Imperio to the front, again using the link pins, and then you can pick your pick point. If you want it, to hang pretty much even, you'd use like the third hole back, but you can pick other pick points for different angles. And this one's nice, it's very low profile, it's lightweight. So we made that option for you as well. That'll be available in the next month or two. Next, let's see, actually that's not for the Imperio, but here we have the Imperio pole. This thing is cool because you can use it in a multitude of ways. The pole itself has M20 threads. Let me put this one together for you. So for transport reasons, you can fold it in half, but not just transport. Sometimes you only want to get, say you're putting 4 Imperios on the top here and you put it on top of a sub, you don't want the huge tall pole, you just want half of the pole. You can do that. So this is the Imperio pole. Again, it's got an M20 thread and it can go into either side of the subwoofer. The subwoofer actually has a pole mount on the bottom and the top. So here, you want to show us the subwoofer real quick? Sorry about that. So here's 2 Imperio subs stacked on top of each other. We're here in the showroom. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark in here, but there's a pole mount on the top and on the side. So depending on your configuration, a lot of times we like to lay them on their side. They couple better to the floor, but anyway, yeah. So this is the pole. You can put in a normal situation with the pole, at this length, you can put 2 Imperio modules on top. Another kind of cool thing about this is it has several different splay angles. So you can, set the bottom one at 12, 8, 4 degrees, or just flat. And then, if you really want to change things up, you can pull this adapter part off, and it will fit on top of any standard speaker stand that you may have. So these guys come together, but a lot of times people will buy the system and they'll just use this piece to put on top of an existing speaker stand if they're doing delays, overflow, anything kind of like that. So let's see. So we're going to just go over real quick a couple of pre-configured system options. Now, one of the discussions I have a lot with my lighting colleagues around here is, there is no one-size-fits-all, just like in lighting, system for an application. Sometimes someone will call and say, hey, I've got a 40 by 20 room, what do I use? Well, I think a lot of you guys already know there's a lot more questions that need to be asked before we just say, oh yeah, buy this. But, just in the interest of simplicity and ordering, we kind of came up with some systems that we think are going to be the most common configurations out there. So let's see. Okay, Candace, could you throw my screen up there? This is probably the most popular one. This is the Imperio Theater rig. Again, you can fly the subs using the large rigging bars, and this kit comes with everything. It comes with the sub, the 2 rigging bars, all the pins, and 4 modules. And it's worth mentioning too, with all the Imperios, they come with locking power jumper cables, and they also come with the audio connectors. Sorry. Yeah. So it's real clean. They're the right length, and you can either go top to bottom, bottom to top, depending on how you're configuring the system. So let me find the other one. Oh, so this is the Max 210. This is our biggest array. Now you can see we have 8 modules hanging under 2 of the subs. This is going to be for your theater, your amphitheater, your situation where you need to, cover 1,000, maybe 1,200 people. And I mean, this is a true line array. This isn't a line array shaped object. At this point, you're looking at about 8 feet worth of just modules. And you can do, as you can see here, we have a pretty aggressive J hang going on. So you're going to get front to back coverage with this. And I should have mentioned earlier, each module is 90 degrees horizontal dispersion and 15 degrees vertical dispersion. So again, it is a true array box, and especially when you start linking at about 4, the directivity control you're going to have is going to be really awesome. So it's going to keep, you're going to be able to keep the sound off the walls and in the crowd where it needs to be. So we have that. We have a bleacher rig setup, which I'm about to show you. And we have the gig rig setup, which I'll show you kind of towards the end of the show. But I wanted to show you guys just how quick and easy these things go together. And now, of course, this video I'm going to show you sped up because it took me about 10 minutes, but I was also kind of taking my time. But there's been situations where I've actually had to throw one of these bleacher rigs together fairly quickly. So let's go ahead. Candace, can we show that it's not me, it's this really handsome model we hired to build this system. So. on the, oh, am I on? Okay, so on the rigging bar there, you can see we have a tongue that comes up so we can adjust the angle from the bottom. And earlier you probably saw me point at the logo. Yes, I mean, it was a little self-promotion for Avante, but it's also kind of important to make sure the A is going the right direction. I've had myself, I've put one on once or twice upside down, but yeah. So there I am adjusting the DSP. For that particular one, I like to set the DSP to 4 and the input sensitivity to 0. And now I'm just going to pack it back up in the Imperio QRC, which is a 4-pack case that'll hold any of the rigging options, all the cables, and 4 Imperio modules. Now you will notice that our model here put the rigging bar in the wrong side of the case, but so it probably shaved about 30 seconds off the time, strike time. Now that is the, again, the Imperio Flybar LG, and you know, you can use it, again, flip it over, use it for a ground stack, flip it the other way, and fly the speaker. Yep, whoops, wrong side. But there you go, a full line array system in and out like that. So, kind of brings me to the next section, and I do have a guest speaker on the line, but we'll get to him in just a sec. It's point source versus line array. Point source being your regular two-way cabinet. A lot of like the event guys and the DJ guys will use a 15 and a horn. So, you know, why a line array versus that? One's not right, one's not wrong, one's not better, one's not worse. They both have their applications. And of course, a point source sends out a spherical output, basically, of sound of high pressure, and that's great for certain situations. And you have what's called the square inverse, or the inverse square law, which means when you're spreading sound out, you know, in that sort of way, you're basically losing 6 dB for every doubling of distance. And with a line array, you're going to have more of a cylindrical sort of output, and then you're only really going to have about 3 dB loss in that sort of range. But again, I want to make it clear to everybody that while a line array isn't for everybody, the great thing is the Imperio kind of is, because it will fit whatever need you have at the moment. But if you need to expand, you just add more boxes, just like a typical line array. But if you just need to have a small system, you put a couple Imperios on a pole with the sub and be on your way. But anyway, I have a good buddy of mine who's an awesome sound designer, and he's done work with a lot of different brands, and he's an installer. He's very respected in the industry. He's been one of the beta testers for Imperio. He owns a company in San Diego called Acros, and I'm going to bring him in, Mr. Tony Mirador. Let's see here. Let me move this off his head. Hold on. Can we hear him? I see. Tony. Well, here's a couple audio guys that can't seem to get the sound to work.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. I can hear you, Tony.
Great.
All right.
How you doing?
That was about to be embarrassing if there's two audio guys here and we couldn't get any sound to work.
Great.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
Hey, I appreciate you joining us. I know you're in the field right now doing a job, so I won't keep you too long. But with audio, it gets so crazy, and it's easy to go off on tangents and get into different algebra equations and things, and I'll leave that for some of the other guys, but I'm just kind of trying to help the general public understand a couple things, not just about the Imperio specifically, but when it's appropriate to turn the Imperio into a big line array or not, or just use a point source like the achromic. So, but before we get into that, can you maybe just tell everybody why you choose the Imperio for certain gigs and what attracted you to it?
Well, first of all, it's very scalable. So you could use as little as 2 boxes and as many as up to 8, like what I do precise. And doing so, you could do small and larger events as well. It's one of the few boxes out there that are this compact and is active as well. That's a line array.
Yeah.
And and that's the ease of rigging and the power draw is very minimal for what it does.
So the ease of rigging, I mean, when you bring out, I know that your big Imperio system is 8 boxes a side. So what kind of crew do you bring out to deploy your Imperio?
It could be deployed by one person, but it's always great to have another guy around.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I wanted to ask you, because you're an expert. A lot of us here, when we can't figure something out, we call you. When you're looking at a job, whether it's a one-off show or an installation, and the big question is point source or line array. So what are the factors that you think about when you look at something and when deciding between the two?
There's many factors. You have to figure out where the audience coverage needs to be, and with the line array, you can cover a lot evenly with a closer and a farther audience at the same time, versus a single point source box where you just get a spot.
Right. Right.
And then you have to pick its vertical and horizontal depending on the horn that's on it. The one box or a box or two of point source versus a line array. The line array is going to give you a lot more throw.
Yeah.
And a consistent SPL field from close to far than a point source box.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning there's something called shading, right? Where people will make the top boxes louder than the boxes at the bottom, because the boxes at the bottom are kind of in a J shape, hitting the crowd closest to them. So you don't want to have the same volume when this box is 10 feet from someone's head versus when you're trying to hit someone 100 feet away at the back of the room. And I mean, I get, in some cases you can do that with the Imperio, with the input sensitivity if you like, but a lot of times too, you'd use multi-channel audio or processing, right, Tony?
Yes. You could split up the line array to do a lot more SPL at the top, get more throw, and less at the bottom, have it attenuated, depending how close your audience is.
Yeah.
If you have them out pretty far, you could probably minimize your attenuation at the bottom boxes, giving you more output for the line array effect.
Yeah. And one other thing with the Imperio, I mean, what do you think about the intelligibility for vocals and corporate events?
It's outstanding for the box. I know it only goes down to maybe the 150 hertz region, but it does really good for intelligibility. I've used it on many events where it's just speaking.
Yeah.
And the intelligibility wide and far was really, really well. Corporate events, general sessions works really great.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, and another thing is it kind of disappears because, right, at some events, they're not all rock and roll where you want the giant stacks and everything.
It's a really good a product for hotel work because you could hang it from like an air wall.
Yeah.
Hang it with minimal rigging requirements. I mean, the weight is 14 pounds a box. You get 8 of those, still nothing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Compared to a lot of point source boxes, you're already at least halfway there with just one box.
Nice. Well, I know you're busy, so I'll let you get back to it. But I want to mention if anybody watching or listening is in the San Diego area, Tony has a full inventory of Imperio and a lot of other amazing audio products. But if you need to check some out for rental, it's Akroz, that's AKROZ, right? .com?
That's correct.
Yep. And again, if you're in the San Diego area, Tony, once things start picking up again, Tony will be the guy doing all the festivals, or a lot of them out there. And, should you guys need to rent anything, if you have any events, if you're doing any of the drive-in churches or any of that, and you're in the San Diego area, Tony can come out and deploy the Imperios and make you guys all a believer as well. So thanks again, Tony. I appreciate it. Get back in there and hang up some Avantes, huh?
You're right. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. We'll
Take
see you
care,
later.
everybody.
Bye. Cool. So that was Tony, and he's one of the users. We have actually several, people around the country. We have a guy, Rob Gordon, in Philadelphia, who's got a full Imperio rental rig. We have SDG in Las Vegas. There's quite a few out there. And again, the Imperio can go as small as you need, as big as you need. So why have 20 different types of speakers in your inventory when you can have one and deploy it for all different kinds of situations? So basically, I'm going to show you another video of, again, our handsome supermodel setting it up. But this time, we're going to fly the line array. Now it's just going to be on a goalie post truss, so it was more for just the shooting of it, and you could kind of get a closer look of how we would do it. And we're going to use the new DLX or Deluxe rigging bar. And then at the, they're going to put up the line array, take it down, and then break it out into 2 different kind of speaker systems. We'll talk about it when we get back in. So Candace, you want to roll that? Sometimes it's good to just hug the line array when you're hanging it, show it some love. Now in both instances, when I wired these up, I did use the internal crossover. Of course, you can use your own external processing, but the crossover in the subwoofer is specifically designed for the Imperio modules. You can actually power link 8 modules on a 20 amp circuit. And for those of you wondering about the pink stickers on the front, those are just the display stickers with some specs on them, so don't worry, it's not a permanent pink rectangle on the front of the box. And again, those are the power and audio jumpers that are included. Use my car keys to set the DSP. Again, this is the back of the subwoofer. We're going to plug in the audio in and the audio out. Set the crossover. Make sure in this situation, phase is normal. All powered up. Now this is important too. The badge on the subwoofer, you can turn it. So, you know, when the subwoofer's on its side, it's not a sideways A. There you go. So I took the line array apart, and now I put on the Imperio pole. And we like to call this the Imperio Gig Rig 210. This is perfect when you just need to cover 100 people, or if you're doing a corporate event where you just have a speaker. Also good for overflow in church lobbies, or you can also run them as delays at events as well. The subwoofer comes actually with a power and audio jumper that's a bit longer, so you can easily make one of these systems if you have the pole. Here's a standard speaker stand. We'll put an adapter on top and pop these guys on. So if you're using your own subwoofer, or if you've corner loaded your sub and you're setting a delay on your tops, this is another option. Again, with the Imperio, we wanted to give you a ton of different options without a ton of different pieces. We really only have about 4 pieces of hardware and 2 types of speakers, and the possibilities are endless. Cool. Well, so as you saw, I took the line array, which we hung 4 boxes up, and very quickly broke it into 2 different speaker systems. Like I said, the Gig Rig, and then we put a couple on a standard speaker stand. Again, it's about finding, having a tool that you can use for multiple gigs without having 50 different kinds of speakers. And taking a look here, thank you for everybody that's tuned in. It's quite overwhelming. We're really super happy you guys could join us today. I don't really see anybody. Oh, well, we had somebody ask if there's any questions. Just had a lot of really nice compliments and a lot of people mentioning how much they're enjoying their Avante speakers. Again, I mean, we have a 3-year warranty. We have parts and service with everything in stock here, ready to go. We've had really almost no failures. We've been very lucky. It took us a long time to get this Imperio product done, but JC and I are very proud of it. Not just me and JC, but the whole company. There's a whole team of people behind this. So anyhow, if you do have any questions, please feel free to contact us directly on Facebook. We have the Avante Audio Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. You can also check us out at www.avanteaudio.com. So, it does come in, yeah, okay, so I got a question here. Does it come in white or with road cases? It does come in white, and thank you, Steve, for asking that, because I almost forgot to show you guys. I do have a white bleacher stack rig set up here. It's just like the one that we set up in the first video. So yeah, if you want white, again, for architectural, house of worship, or if you just like white speakers, we have them available, and road cases. Yes, over here I have the Avante Imperio QRC. It's a quad road case. You can see it fits 4 modules. Actually, I'll just kind of head over here real quick, just show you. These guys pop right in here. This side you have room for your cables, and over here, any size rigging bar you want to use. So, yeah, I mean, we always joke around. It's a line array you can fit in a Honda Civic. I mean, it really is. I challenge you to find a way to get as much coverage, quality coverage, intelligibility, and SPL out of a system that fits entirely in that road case with the sub right on top. So anyhow, we do have quite a few dealers out there with the Imperios that would love to show them, love to demo them for you. And again, please contact your Avante rep, or in a lot of cases it's your ADJ sales rep, and we would love to set up a demo for you. So again, be sure to check us out at www.avanteaudio.com. I'm Chuck Green. We'll see you on the next one.